Cash is king, baby. But what good is a king that never gets off the throne? It just sits there, comfortable, admired, but not doing anything for the people it's supposed to serve. That's how too much cash can behave in retirement. It looks strong and secure, but it's not working for you. Hi, I'm Philip Smith, financial planner with Tidepool Wealth Strategies, helping people who are about to retire step into retirement with clarity, confidence, and tax-efficient income that's meant to last. Welcome to
The perfect retirement plan?
Cash feels safe. It's simple, liquid, and gives a sense of control, especially when markets are doing somersaults. But as comforting as that pile of cash can be, too much of it can quietly erode your purchasing power, can also increase tax drag, and throw off your long-term income strategy. Today, we're wading into why cash is both your best friend and your worst enemy in retirement. We're going to cover 3 key ideas: the comfort and purpose of cash, why it matters emotionally and financially, how cash can quietly sabotage your retirement plan, and we'll also talk about how to find your personal sweet spot, the right amount of cash to keep on hand while making the rest of your money work. So if you're listening to this in the morning, hopefully not in the evening, because I'm suggesting you grab a coffee. If you're in Eugene, maybe you get something from Tailored Coffee or Farmers Union, and then let's wade in together. Now, let's start with the obvious. Cash gives you a sense of security. You can see it, touch it, transfer it. It's the emergency fund, the trip fund, the sleep at night money. In retirement, that feeling of stability can be invaluable, especially after decades of saving, investing, and watching markets do their thing. But here's the challenge. Stability and performance, specifically growth, don't always go hand in hand. And the longer you hold too much in cash, the more it costs you in the background. Let's break this down. There is sort of an emotional safety net. There's no denying that emotional value of cash. After all, when you're no longer earning a paycheck, cash is the closest thing to a safety blanket. Having 6 to 12 months of living expenses in the bank is healthy. It gives you the confidence to stay invested when markets drop. But beyond that, you start to drift from safety to stagnation. Inflation is the quiet thief here. Even at 3%, your purchasing power is cut in half in about 24 years. And that's just average inflation. Retirement spending tends to rise faster in healthcare, travel, lifestyle categories, all areas where costs often climb well above 3% annually. So while your savings account is earning maybe 4.5% right now, probably not that high after the recent interest rate cut, if inflation stays elevated or interest rates drop, which is in the environment we're in right now, that same cash may not keep up. In other words, today's comfort could become tomorrow's regret. Now, let's talk about that tax drag dilemma. Here's something most people overlook. Interest on cash is taxed as ordinary income. So if you're in a 22% tax bracket, that's 4.5% CD yield. Suddenly it becomes more like 3.5% after taxes. And that's before inflation is added into that equation. Now compare that to a balanced portfolio that might earn 5 to 6% after taxes and inflation over time. The difference compounds quietly, and over a decade or two, it can mean tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost opportunity. This is where cash as a liability comes into play. It's not that cash is bad. It's that it creates friction in your plan. It's not growing with you, it's standing still while the world moves on. Third thing I wanted to touch on, the liquidity trap. This final issue is psychological. Too much cash makes it easy to delay decisions like investing, converting Roth IRAs, or even turning on income strategies. When money sits idle, it feels like you're waiting for the right moment. But history tells us the right moment rarely announces itself. I've seen retirees with $500,000 sitting in cash because they just didn't want to lose it. The problem is that they were already losing, just slowly, to taxes and inflation. $1 in a savings account today might only buy 70 cents of goods 10 years from now. That's not safety, that's slow erosion. That is its own risk. So how much cash is the right amount? Honestly, there's no magic formula, but a healthy framework looks something like this. You'd have 6 to 12 months of essential expenses in cash or CDs or like a money market fund. You could have 1 to 2 years of spending in a short-term, quote-unquote, income bucket, something safe but still earning modest returns. The rest should be invested for long-term growth and inflation protection. Now, I love when I can tie our brand imagery into an analogy, so let me try here. I think I can make this work. Think of your financial plan like a tide pool. Cash is the water that remains when the tide goes out. That is literally the tide pool. It's the very definition of a tide pool. So this water is stable, consistent, and it's always there to keep things alive during dry spells. But if that tide pool never refills, it becomes stagnant. Life is no longer thriving. Growth isn't happening. This is cash in your safe, cash in your mattress, excessive cash just sitting in your checking account. Over time, inflation is killing the purchasing power of that cash. Now, growth happens when the new tides roll in, bringing fresh water, not literally fresh water, but fresh water, and nutrients. That's your invested money, your income streams, your long-term assets replenishing and nourishing your financial system. Too little cash and the pool dries up. Too much and it never thrives. Balance is what's going to keep your financial tide pool healthy. Now, if you're sitting on a large cash position after selling a business or receiving an inheritance or rolling out of an employer plan and into an IRA and just letting it sit in cash for whatever reason, it's okay to pause and plan. Just don't park it forever. Don't forget about it. Build a gradual deployment plan, something systematic that blends cash flow needs with market conditions. Sitting in neutral too long can cost you more than a few sleepless nights. It can cost you the life your savings was meant to fund. So let's take some action on this. Review your cash holdings across all accounts, checking, savings, money markets, CDs. Add it up and ask yourself, is this making me feel secure and stable? And then also ask this sometimes harder question. Am I overdoing safety at the expense of growth? Second action item, calculate your sleep well number, the amount that truly helps you feel comfortable, and then put the rest to work in a thoughtful, tax-smart strategy. Hopefully your sleep well number is not 100% of your retirement savings. Now, third action item, if you're not sure how to rebalance or when to redeploy that cash, consider running a retirement cash flow analysis. It'll show you how much money you really need to support your income plan without letting inflation eat away at your future. Now, in closing, let's bring this full circle. Cash might be king, but a good king leads. It doesn't just sit on the throne polishing its crown. It gets out, works the land, makes sure the kingdom thrives. That's what your cash should do for you. It should serve you, not just sit idly while opportunity passes by. Remember, it's not about having the smartest financial advisor, the most money saved, or the most money sitting in cash, or the highest probability of retirement success. Whether you're nearing retirement, recently retired, or deep in retirement, the perfect retirement plan for you is the one you act on. It's disclosure time. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only, should not be used for any other purposes. The views depicted in this material should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual, are not intended to be financial, tax, or legal advice, and are not representative of Tidepool Wealth Strategies or Tidepool Wealth Services, LLC. The opinions contained in this material are those of Philip Smith and not a recommendation or solicitation to buy or sell investment products. This information is from sources believed to be reliable, but Tidepool Wealth Services, LLC cannot guarantee or represent that it is accurate or complete. For a comprehensive review of your personal situation, always consult with a financial, tax, or legal advisor. Neither Cetera nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice. Our office address is 450 Country Club Road, Suite 350, Eugene, Oregon 97401. Securities offered through Tidepool Wealth Services, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory service offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity.